Welcome back to ZE Coins. We dive deep into the fascinating world of coins, currency, and collectibles. If you're a coin collector, a treasure hunter, or just someone curious about the spare change in your pocket, then you're in for a treat. We're going to talk about a coin that may look ordinary at first glance, but can be worth much more than 25 cents. That coin is the 1966 Washington quarter dollar. Stay tuned, because this episode is packed with history, hidden secrets, valuable tips, and a breakdown of current market prices. Let us begin with the story behind the coin. The Washington quarter was first issued in the year 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Originally designed by John Flanagan, this quarter became an iconic part of American currency. Now fast forward to 1966, a very unique time in U.S. coin history. The United States was experiencing a coin shortage caused in part by the rising value of silver. The U.S. Mint had just made a major change in 1965 by removing silver from dimes and quarters completely. This meant that the 1966 Washington quarter, like its predecessor from the year before, was no longer made of silver. Instead, the 1966 quarter was made of a clad composition. This means the coin consists of an outer layer of copper-nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. So if you were hoping your 1966 quarter might be made of silver, sorry to say it is not. However, that does not mean it is worthless. In fact, some 1,966 quarters can still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on a few key factors. Let us talk about condition and rarity. First up is the condition or grade of the coin. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless specimen. A 1966 quarter found in change is usually considered circulated and might be worth only face value. However, if you find a coin in uncirculated condition, or even better, in mint state or proof-like condition, its value increases dramatically. The second factor is errors and varieties. Some of the most valuable 1966 quarters are those with mint errors. For example, there are double die obverse varieties where the image or letters appear to be doubled. Another sought-after error is the clipped planchet error, which occurs when a piece of the metal is missing from the coin due to a misfeed in the coin press. Let us talk big money now. If you have a regular 1966 Washington quarter in good condition, it is probably worth between 25 cents and $1. However, if you have a coin in near mint condition, it could be worth anywhere from $5 to $20. And if your coin is graded by a third-party grading company like PCGS or NGC and receives a high grade such as MS65 or higher, its value can jump to over $100. But here is the real kicker: some rare error coins from 1966 have sold for over $500, and in very special cases even over $1,000. Imagine turning a simple pocket change coin into serious cash. Now you may be wondering why these coins are even valuable if they are not silver. Well, the answer lies in collector demand. Historical interest and rarity coins from the mid-60s, including the 1966 quarter, are part of a critical turning point in American numismatics, and many collectors look for high-quality examples to complete their S. Another thing to remember is that no mint marks were used on quarters struck in 1965, 1966, and 1967. This was done to discourage coin hoarding during the shortage. So if your 1966 quarter has no mint mark, do not worry, that is normal. Let us now explore the current market value. As of now, in 2025, the coin market remains strong for high-grade examples. According to recent auction data, an MS67 graded 1966 quarter sold for over $400. That is right, a coin you might overlook in your pocket change could be worth hundreds if it is in the right condition. To find valuable 1966 quarters, you should look for clean surfaces, strong luster, minimal scratches, and full details in the hair and eagle feathers. A coin like this is rare, but definitely out there. Also keep an eye out for coins that were mistakenly struck on silver planchets. While extremely rare, a few transitional errors have been reported. These are coins struck on leftover silver blanks from earlier years. These can be worth thousands of dollars if authenticated. So what should you do if you think you have a valuable 1966 quarter? First, handle it carefully. Avoid touching the faces of the coin and use gloves if possible. Then check the coin under magnification. Look for signs of doubling, die breaks off, center strikes, or other errors. If the coin looks promising, consider submitting it to a professional grading service. To wrap things up, the 1966 Washington quarter might not be silver, but it still has serious value potential. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or just starting out, always pay attention to those dates and details, because treasure might be hiding in plain sight. We are diving deep into a coin that might be sitting in your pocket or stashed away in a jar in your home. It's the 1997 D Washington quarter dollar from the Denver Mint, and this coin might be worth more than you think. Now, at first glance, it may seem like just another regular quarter, but as we've learned over the years, not all coins are created equal. Some carry hidden value thanks to minting errors, historical significance, or collector demand, and the 1997 D quarter is one of those coins. You Definitely want to know about. Let's start with the basics. The 1997 D quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, which is why it carries the small letter D on the right side of George Washington's ponytail. Just over 599 million of these quarters were produced in 1997, which may sound like a huge number, but stay with me because rarity isn't always about how many were made, it's about how many survive today in high-quality condition or with unique features. The Washington quarter design has been around since 1932, created to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The front features the iconic portrait of Washington by John Flanagan, while the reverse shows the classic eagle with wings spread clutching arrows and olive branches. By 1997, this design had been used for decades and was just a couple of years away from being replaced by the 50-state quarters program, which launched in 1999. That makes the 1997 issue one of the final runs of the original Eagleback quarters. So what makes the 1997 D quarter so special? Let's talk value. Most circulated 1997 D quarters are worth their face value of 25 cents when you use them at the store, but that all changes when you find a coin in high mint state condition or with rare errors in mint state condition, meaning the coin has never been used in circulation. A 1997 D quarter graded MS65 by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can sell for around $10 to $20. That's already a nice profit from just one coin, but go higher. In MS67 graded 1997 D quarter has sold at auction for over $100. Why? Because coins in that grade are incredibly rare. Out of the hundreds of millions made, only a tiny fraction survive in such pristine, untouched condition. And then we have the holy grail for collectors: mint errors. If you come across a 1997 D quarter with an off-center strike, clipped, planchet die, cracked double die, or struck through grease error, you might be looking at a coin worth hundreds or even thousands. For example, one 1997 D quarter with a major off-center strike sold for over $250. Another one struck on a nickel planchet, meaning the blank used was the wrong metal, sold for around $400. These error coins are not common, but they are out there, and sometimes they slip into circulation unnoticed. Another thing to look for is full strike details, especially on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. A coin with strong strike details will always be more desirable to collectors and can demand a premium price. So how can you check your 1997 D quarter? First, look at the overall condition. Is it shiny, crisp, and free from scratches? Or where, if so, you might have an uncirculated coin that's worth grading. Next, use a magnifying glass or a phone camera to zoom in on the date, the mint mark, and the details of the coin. Check for any doubling of the letters, numbers, or features that look unusual compared to other coins. Also check the edge of the coin. Is it perfectly round, or does it look clipped or uneven? If you think you have a special coin, your next step is to get it professionally graded, and authenticated services like PCGS or NGC can confirm the grade and legitimacy of your coin, and that can make all the difference when selling it. Now, what about the current market value in 2025? Well, as of this year, prices have been steadily rising for high-grade coins. Collectors continue to chase high-quality examples of the 1997 D quarter, especially in MS67 or better. The average sale price for an MS66 is around $35 to $50. MS67 examples can sell anywhere from $100 to $250 depending on the market and demand. Coins have become even hotter with collectors, and some unique errors have pushed well beyond $300 or more. So keep an eye out. Go through your change jars and drawers, because that 1997 D quarter might be worth way more than just 25 cents. And remember, every coin has a story from the Denver Mint in 1997 to your hand today. The journey of a quarter could lead to a big payday. We dive deep into the hidden treasures of American coins. Today, we're unlocking the fascinating world of the 2014 D Washington quarter dollar. You might be surprised to find out that a coin you could have in your pocket change might actually be worth far more than 25 cents. Let's talk about the secrets behind this modern coin, why collectors are chasing it, and what makes certain pieces worth big money. The Washington quarter has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1932. Originally struck to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the design has gone through several changes, including the famous state quarters program, the America the Beautiful series, and more. The 2014 D quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series and was minted in Denver. That's what the D Mint mark stands for, the Denver Mint.in 2014. 5 unique designs were released as part of the series. These include quarters honoring Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee, Shenandoah National Park in Virginia, Arches National Park in Utah, Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado, and Everglades National Park in Florida. Each design features a distinct scene on the reverse side of the quarter, showcasing American natural beauty and heritage. These designs were released throughout the year, but the ones minted in Denver carry the D mint mark. So, what makes the 2014 D quarters potentially valuable? It's not just about the design. It's about rarity, condition, and errors. Let's start with the mintage numbers. The Denver Mint produced millions of each design, but that doesn't mean every quarter is created equal. While common examples might only be worth face value, coins that are in pristine condition, or what collectors call mint state, can be worth far more. Coins graded MS66 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can fetch a premium. In fact, a 2014 D Great Sand Dunes quarter graded MS67 sold for over $400 at auction. But here's where it gets really interesting: error coins. These are the rare gems that slip through quality control at the US Mint and end up in circulation. Some of the most valuable 2014 D quarters are those with striking errors. Look out for double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and even missing edge lettering. One particularly desirable error is a double die reverse, where parts of the design appear doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. These can sometimes sell for hundreds of dollars depending on the visibility and clarity of the doubling. Another high-value error to look for is the struck-through error. That's when a foreign object like grease or cloth interferes with the coin blank during striking. The result is a coin with strange marks or missing details, making it unique and collectible. Coins with these types of errors have been known to sell for between $50 and $500 or more depending on severity and rarity. Condition also plays a huge role in a coin's value. A circulated coin might only be worth a quarter, but an uncirculated coin kept in original rolls or sets can be worth several dollars to several hundred if the condition is high enough. Coins in MS68 condition are extremely rare and highly prized by top collectors. So how can you tell if your 2014 D quarter is valuable? First, examine it under good lighting. Look for signs of doubling, unusual marks, or striking errors. If the coin looks flawless, with no wear and tear, it may be worth submitting for grading. Remember that grading costs money, so it's best to check recent auction sales to see what similar coins are selling for before sending yours in. Let's talk current market value. As of now, most circulated 2014 D quarters are worth face value, but uncirculated or mint state coins can bring in between $3 and $20 on average, depending on the design and condition. Error coins can push that value into the hundreds, and in some rare cases, even more. Collectors are always on the lookout for low-population high-grade examples, and if you've got one in your possession, it could be a profitable find. Especially if it's part of the Great Sand Dunes or Arches National Park designs, which tend to attract more attention due to their striking imagery. If you're new to coin collecting, this is a great way to get started. Check your change, visit coin shops, attend shows, and keep learning. The 2014 D Washington quarter proves that you don't need to go back centuries to find treasure. Sometimes history and value are right there in your pocket. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2017 P quarter, its origin, the America the Beautiful series it belongs to, the rare and valuable errors to look for, and how much these coins are actually worth on the current market. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter has been a part of American currency since 1932, when it was first introduced to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. For decades, the design stayed relatively consistent until 1999, when the United States Mint launched the 50-state quarters program. That was followed by the 2009 District of Columbia and U.S. Territories quarters, and then came the America the Beautiful quarters program in 2010. That's where the 2017 P quarter comes in. The 2017 quarters were part of the America the Beautiful series, which featured stunning reverse designs celebrating national parks and sites in each state, territory, and the District of Columbia. In total, 5 unique quarters were released in 2017. These included the Effigy Mounds National Monument in Iowa, Frederick Douglass National Historic Site in Washington, D.C., Ozark National Scenic Riverways in Missouri, Ellis Island or the Statue of Liberty National Monument in New Jersey, and George Rogers Clark National Historical Park in Indiana. Each of these designs was paired with the standard obverse, or front, featuring the classic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Now, the P mint mark stands for the Philadelphia Mint, where these coins were struck. And while hundreds of millions were made, not all of them are equal. There are some rare varieties and mint errors that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. So what makes a 2017 P quarter valuable? First, let's talk about condition. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially those graded MS-66, MS-67 or higher, are worth significantly more than their face value. For example, a 2017 P effigy mounds quarter-graded MS-67 by PCGS can sell for upwards of $100, and sometimes even more depending on the market demand. Higher-grade examples with flawless surfaces and strong luster can push into the few $100 range. But what really excites collectors are errors. And the 2017 P quarters have some major ones. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse, where the design elements appear to be doubled. This error can happen during the minting process when the die strikes the coin more than once, slightly off position. Doubling may be seen in areas like the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust. Depending on the severity and visibility of the doubling, these coins can sell for $50 to several $100s. Another error to watch for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during striking. Some off-center coins can be extremely valuable, especially if the date is still visible. A dramatic off-center error on a 2017 P quarter can easily sell for $200 or more. Then there are die cracks, cuds, and retained die breaks. These are all forms of mint damage where parts of the die break off or get damaged, causing raised metal areas or missing pieces of design on the coin. These errors are highly collectible and their value depends on size and placement. Now let's look at each 2017 design and how valuable they can be. Starting with the effigy mounds quarter, this one features ancient Native American mound formations and was released in early 2017. Coins with perfect strike and high grades can fetch between $50 and $300, depending on the grading service and the buyer. Error coins with double dies or die breaks can go for even more. The Frederick Douglass quarter, which shows Douglass seated at a writing desk in front of his home, is also popular with collectors. Some MS-67 examples have sold for over $200. A well-known die break error on this quarter shows a large crack near the roof of the house on the reverse side. Next is the Ozark National Scenic Riverways quarter, featuring Alley Mill in Missouri. Graded high-end coins from Philadelphia can reach values of $150 to $250. Watch out for die chips in the trees or mill area, which can add collector value. The Ellis Island quarter, also known as the Statue of Liberty design, shows a family of immigrants arriving in America. Mint errors like partial colors and clash dies are occasionally found on these, and high-grade MS coins have sold for over $100. Finally, the George Rogers Clark quarter, depicting soldiers crossing a river, rounds out the 2017 series. This design has some of the most visually dramatic die breaks, including chunks of metal missing on the soldiers or boat areas, which are highly desirable. Clean, high-grade pieces can sell in the $150 range or more. So how do you find one of these valuable coins? Start by checking your pocket change. Look closely under good lighting and use a magnifying glass or coin loop. Pay attention to the details in the lettering, date, and images. If something looks off or unusual, it could be an error. Then, consider sending it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. Certified and graded coins sell for much higher prices than raw ones because buyers trust the authenticity and condition. You can also search coin rolls from banks or buy uncirculated mint sets directly from the U.S. Mint if you want the best possible condition. To wrap it up, the 2017 P Washington quarters might seem like ordinary change, but in the world of numismatics, they carry a lot of hidden value. Whether it's a rare error, a high-grade strike, or a unique variety, these coins have made collectors excited since the moment they were released. And in today's market, with coin collecting more popular than ever, their value continues to grow. So keep an eye on your change, learn what to look for, and who knows, you just might find a quarter that's worth hundreds or even more. We're diving deep into one of the most intriguing modern coins in U.S. history. We're talking about the 2018 D Washington quarter dollar. This coin might look like pocket change to most people, but there are versions of this quarter out there that have sold for big money. And I mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So what makes this seemingly ordinary coin potentially worth a fortune? Let's get into the full story. First off, let's talk about what the 2018 D quarter really is. The letter D means it was struck at the Denver Mint. In 2018, the United States Mint released 5 different America the Beautiful quarters. These featured designs celebrating national parks and landmarks. The 2018 D quarter could be one of 5 designs. We have the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore from Michigan, the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore from Wisconsin, the Voyageurs National Park from Minnesota, Cumberland Island National Seashore from Georgia, and Block Island National Wildlife Refuge from Rhode Island. Each of these quarters has a unique reverse design, while the obverse continues to feature the classic image of George Washington. Now, while these coins were mass-produced, not all of them are created equal. Some of these 2018 D quarters have become extremely valuable due to mint errors, high grades, and collector demand. Let's break it down. The first thing that gives a coin value is its condition. Collectors pay big money for coins that are in pristine shape, especially those graded mint state 67 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC. A 2018 D quarter graded MS67 or MS68 can be worth from $100 to even over $1,000 depending on the demand and which design it features. For example, in recent auctions, some of the top-grade 2018 D Pictured Rocks quarters have sold for over $500. That's a huge return for a coin that originally cost just 25 cents. Now let's talk about error coins. These are the real stars of the numismatic world. Error coins are coins that have been mistruck or contain some kind of manufacturing defect. With the 2018 D quarters, collectors have found several incredible error types. Some of the most sought after include double dies where the design is struck twice slightly offset. These create a noticeable doubling effect on the lettering or images. Then there are off-center strikes where the coin isn't properly aligned during the strike. There's also die breaks, also called cuds, which are raised areas on the coin due to a crack in the die point. One famous error with the 2018 D Pictured Rocks quarter is the retained cud error, where a piece of the die cracked and shifted but stayed in place. These can sell for hundreds of dollars depending on how dramatic the error looks. Another notable example is the 2018 D Apostle Islands quarter with multiple die clashes where the dies hit each other without a coin blank between them, leaving ghost-like images. Some of these coins have sold online for over $200. Even regular 2018 D quarters can hold value if they are still in mint-sealed rolls or bags. That's because some collectors are always hunting for high grades and errors. So if you have unopened rolls from 2018, especially Denver minted ones, you might be sitting on a little gold mine. But what's the current market like in 2025? Well, demand for modern error coins and high-grade state quarters is still going strong. While prices can fluctuate, the highest quality 2018 D quarters are still commanding impressive prices at auction. PCGS population reports show that coins with low populations in top grades remain very desirable. Collectors are also focusing more on complete sets and certified coins, which boosts the value of each individual quarter. So how can you check if your 2018 D quarter is worth big money? Start by looking closely at the design. You'll need a magnifying glass or even better, a microscope. Check for doubling, especially on the lettering and numbers. Look for any raised blobs or lines that might indicate a die break or clash. Check if the coin looks off-center or oddly shaped. If anything seems unusual, it might be worth sending it in for grading. If your coin looks absolutely flawless and has no visible marks, or where you might have a mint state gem, in that case, submitting it to a professional grading service could be a wise move. The cost of grading might be worth it if your coin turns out to be one of the few top grade examples. So here's the takeaway. While the 2018 D Washington quarter might seem ordinary, it has the potential to be a valuable collector's item. Whether it's an error coin, a high-grade example, or part of a sealed roll, this little piece of modern American currency might just be worth a whole lot more than face value. Make sure to check your change, check your coin jars, and take a second look at any 2018 D quarters you come across. You never know what you might find. We're shining a spotlight on the 2019 P Washington quarter dollar coins. These quarters are part of the America the Beautiful series, and some of them are worth way more than 25 cents. You could literally be carrying around a coin that's worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars without even realizing it. Now let's rewind just a bit and talk about the background. The Washington quarter first debuted back in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. For decades, it featured the familiar image of Washington on the obverse, or front, of the coin. But starting in 2010, the United States Mint launched the America the Beautiful Quarters program. Each year, 5 new designs were released, featuring national parks and historic sites across the country. Fast forward to 2019. That year, 5 new quarter designs were released, just like in previous years. They included Lowell National Historical Park in Massachusetts, American Memorial Park in the Northern Mariana Islands, War in the Pacific National Historical Park in Guam, San Antonio Missions National Historical Park in Texas, and the Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness in Idaho. But today we're zeroing in on the 2019 P Mint Mark coins. The P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, and these are the coins that are showing up in regular circulation. Now here's where it gets interesting. 2019 was the first year that the U.S. Mint began releasing special West Point quarters with a W Mint Mark to increase interest in coin collecting. But even some of the P Mint coins from Philadelphia have become highly sought after due to rare errors and variations. Let's talk about value. A standard 2019 P Washington quarter in circulated condition is generally only worth its face value, which is 25 cents. But that changes dramatically when we get into high-grade uncirculated coins or ones with errors. If you've got a 2019 P quarter in pristine mint state condition, like MS66 or MS67 or higher, it can be worth between $10 and $50 or more to the right collector. Graded examples with an MS68 rating have sold for well over $100 at auction. But here's where the real money comes in. Some of the most valuable 2019 P quarters are the ones with known mint errors. These errors include double die obverse, double die reverse, off-center strikes, die chips, and even struck-through errors. These types of mistakes happen during the minting process and can create unique and rare coins. One of the most famous and valuable errors to look for in 2019 P quarters is the doubling on the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." If you find doubling on those letters, especially visible without magnification, you might be holding a coin worth hundreds. Another big money error to look for is the leaky bucket error on the San Antonio Missions quarter. This is where a die chip forms in the bucket of water, making it look like the bucket is leaking. These can go for between $50 to over $100 depending on the size and clarity of the chip. There are also coins with cuds or die breaks, which are small raised areas on the coin where a part of the die has broken off. These can range from $20 all the way up to several hundred depending on how dramatic the break is. And let's not forget about full step or strike-through errors where something like grease or a piece of debris got in the way during minting, causing missing details or strange imprints. These are rare and highly collectible. If you find a 2019 P quarter with an odd shape, missing elements, or doubled lettering, do not spend it. Get it checked out by a coin expert or send it in for grading. So what's the current market like in 2025? Right now, the coin market is still hot, especially for modern errors and high-grade coins. Collectors are actively searching for mint state 2019 P quarters, especially with errors. eBay listings are showing completed sales between $50 to $300 for specific error coins. Heritage auctions and other big-name auction houses have seen rare examples of the 2019 P Washington quarter sell for over $500, particularly in slabbed, graded condition with proof-like features or exceptional errors. Remember, condition is everything. A coin that's been circulating in your pocket for months likely won't fetch top dollar unless it has a dramatic error. But if you've got one that's bright, sharp, and looks untouched, it's worth checking for value. And if it's still in a mint roll or from a US mint set, even better. To wrap this up, the 2019 P Washington quarter might seem like just another coin, but under the right conditions it could be worth far more than face value. Whether it's a valuable mint error, a rare variety, or just a high-grade example, these coins are definitely worth checking your change for. If you enjoyed this video and want more guides like this one, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you never miss out on a hidden coin treasure again. Have you found any valuable quarters in your pocket change lately? Drop a comment below and share your find. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting.